I actually, and I'll tell you this story because it's kind of crazy. I actually this morning, because I couldn't get through to my brother who lives in Long Beach, brother John, and he's lived there. Lives in a house I grew up in, and he's lived in the same house since 1974 now. We lived about 2 blocks away before that, but lived in that house since 1974 on the beach. And he hasn't had any power, and he did have water, which parts of Long Beach do not, which is just, then you have no choice but to evacuate because you have no plumbing. But he does have water, but he didn't have any telephone service, and he didn't have any cell service down in the Long Beach. So this morning I decided to go down to make sure everything was okay because I couldn't get to him in the last day. So I drove down early this morning, and when I got to the Meadowbrook, it was still cordoned off. If you know that area, you go south. If you go straight, you go into Jones Beach. If you go to the right, you go to a thing called the Loop Parkway, which takes you into Point Lookout, Lido, and then into Long Beach. And the policeman was nice enough to, he recognized me, let me through. I told him what I was doing. He said, fine, go ahead. I drove the Loop, which I've driven my whole life, and it looked normal. I mean, there was just nobody else on the road, but the Loop had no damage, no flooding, no trees. It doesn't have a lot of trees on it anyway. But no damage, no flooding, nothing strewn around, no debris. Then I got into Long Beach proper, and it is like something where there was like a blast. I mean, it is unbelievable what went on there. I mean, you see just stuff strewn all over the streets where people have piled up all their belongings because all the houses flooded. And you see to the left, which if I'm driving down into what I call the west end of Long Beach, driving down, on the right to the short side is the bay. You can't see the ocean from the block I'm driving on, but you can see down the streets. And then you can see the bay over here. The damage towards the bay area was enormous. And then down the streets, just you could see outside people's homes stuff piled up because everything flooded up about. The way my brother explained it was he looked out. He had gone down and checked the ocean surge, and it was not up yet. He looked out, and there was about an inch of water outside, and the next thing he knew, there was 4 feet of water. He said, just like that. It was like, all of a sudden, it was right there. It was like an inch deep, then it was 4 feet deep. And they flooded completely, and he lost everything on his lower floor. He has a 2-story, 2-family house. And, he lives in both parts, but he has, the downstairs apartment was wrecked completely. It has to be completely redone. And the windows were blown out on the porch. And luckily, he didn't lose his car. So some people did. He didn't. But in Long Beach, it's amazing to see. Here come the National Guard down the street. Here come Army vehicles down the street. Army, National Guard actually walking through the streets. I mean, it's such an eerie, strange feeling. And I went down and saw him, and he's doing okay. Like I said, they don't have any power yet, but they're doing, he's making do when, they're close-knit, group of folks down there that have been there. A lot of them have been down there a long time. A lot of their neighbors. So it's really, though, amazing the amount of devastation which you have there. I'm watching it, and you just see house after house, you just see everyone has piled their belongings out in the street. I mean, it's just a remarkable thing to see. It's just utterly, it's terrible. And the mood there is just so much despair and disappointment. You can just see that they have so much to do. Well, I was driving back out and we were going to leave at 10:30 because we thought it's going to be a long time getting in today, a lot more people traveling. I saw a lot of chaos at these gas stations. I think one thing I noticed from yesterday that I would say is this. Driving through Nassau today, and driving from north to south and south to north, I saw a lot of angry people getting on lines, holding up streets because cutting people off, and a lot of anger on the gas lines. It's almost like it reminded me when I was a kid. Kid meaning when I was going to college and they had those remember when we had gas lines? Some of you don't even remember that. But we used to have these lines where you'd have to go wait 3 and 4 hours for, I used to take my books for school and study while I was waiting to get gas. Then I'd go back and get my mother gas. Because she'd say, now take my car, get me gas. So, I'd have to do it twice. So, like, I'd get on the gas line and be there like an hour, just read, and then wait and, get up slowly, get your gas, and move on. That's how it is there, these gas lines, because they don't have they need to get gas, they need to get power, and I saw some traffic lights back on. They need to get power back to these gas stations, because that will actually get everyone pumping again, and that'll alleviate this gas shortage, which has really, you could see, caused a lot of anger and a lot of traffic jams and a lot of intersections. You see people, and you think they're making a turn, and they're not making a turn. They're trying to get in line for gas, and they're blocking the streets. So they're causing these huge delays, and I'm like, why is there a delay here? And there's a delay there because they're all trying to get in the gas station. So that's something that clearly didn't happen last year, which has become a big issue this year, getting these gas stations back open. Then, this could only happen to me. I drive down there, and the roads weren't bad. Now, I'm driving back, and if you know the area, you'll know where I'm talking about. I'm driving back to go back to the Meadowbrook Parkway. It's about 9:15. I'm going to get home, get in the shower quick, get out, and go at 10:30. About 9:15, 9:20. Maybe 9:25, right in that area. I didn't look exactly at my watch. All of a sudden, when I come back, now on the way there, coming down the Loop Parkway, going down Lido Boulevard towards my brother's who lives down in the East Atlantic Beach area, it was okay. Very quiet, no traffic lights, a little sand in the street, but nothing terrible. Now, on the way back, I'm on Lido Boulevard, driving back towards the Meadowbrook. And now the road is flooded. Now, I don't know where the water came from. I guess somebody pumping from somewhere. I don't know. But now the road is completely covered with a pretty good amount of water. So I go slowly through the water. It's up about, I'd say it's covering my tires. So I'm going slowly through the water. My car's pretty powerful, so it's pretty good in that stuff. I wasn't in a truck. I was in the car. And all of a sudden, I get through the water, and I see in my car that I see my 4 tires come up, which is never a good sign on the computer. The 4 tire pressures come up. 36, 36, 36, 26, 24, 22, 20, 2, defective, defective, defective. I have a flat tire. I just drove through. I'm on Lido Boulevard. I'm about a mile from the loop. And now whatever I drove through, I either drove on. There was debris underneath there. There was metal. There was nails. There was something during that water I drove on. I don't know what I drove on. So now I have a flat tire. Now, I can tell you, I haven't changed the tire, and I can't tell you how long. And I'm like, oh, no. I can't call now, okay? Usually I can just call. Like, it's only happened to me once recently. And you call up, they come fix it, and that's it. You wait an hour, they come fix it, or a half hour. Now no one's coming. First of all, there's not even any cell phone usage there. You can't even get a cell phone through down there. I'm down still there. They got a lot more issues to worry about than me, so I'm not going to get any help, nor am I going to go try and get a gas station to help me. No one's going to help me, so I'm like, I got to change the tire myself. So now I get the stuff out. I look in my glove compartment. I don't have my manual. Okay. Now, I take it out. I open the thing up underneath. Unscrew it. There's one of those, not regular tires, but like a smaller tire. It's not small, but it's a mobile tire you put on to just get to the gas station. One of those secondary tires. It's bigger than a donut in my car. I have a Mercedes. It's bigger than a donut. But it's not as big as the regular tire. You take the regular bolts off, which are like really big, and the tire's complicated because it's got fancy wheel cover and a whole. So these bolts are this long, and then the little tire has its own bolts. It has different bolts, and then out comes the jack. Now, I don't have the manual, so I'm like, where exactly do I put the jack? Do I put it in the front? My front right's out, and it's a scissor jack. And I look, and it's got a little square peg. So I know now that there's got to be a place underneath where either in the front, and I'm thinking it can't be under the front bumper, so it's got to be on the side. There's got to be a place for this little thing to fit in so that you can then scissor the thing up. And you worry about it rolling or anything. So I try to get to a flat place on the street. Now, I'm on the street. So I go, and it's all wet there, too. So now I got to get soaking wet because I got to look under the car to see where I can find the little thing. So I get, I wasn't, I was dressed in sweats, but I get on the ground now and I'm looking under the car and I find the little thing. So I get the thing out. In the, it has a little kit where it has, the lug wrench you need, another thing, and the scissor jack you put together has a little plastic thing you fit into the side there, and it says make sure car doesn't roll and all the different things, right? So listen, I used to be able to do this. I used to park cars, so I did it. Loosen the jacks, loosen the lugs before I jacked it up. You don't do it then; you do it before. So I get them loosened, get it up. Try to get it up, cranking it. First couple of times it slips out, cranking it. Finally get it where it's pretty stable. Now, I got to get the rest of the lugs off and fit the tire in. So I sit and I got the car along the curb there because this car, there's ambulances coming by transporting people from the hospital into inland hospitals. There's some army trucks coming by. So I'm all the way over to the side where it's wet, muddy, sandy. And I sit on the curb to kind of take the lug necks off, the rest of them off. I got them loose. I sit in a sticker bush. They got a lot of sticker bushes that have those burrs there down along the beach. Those kind of things you go through. So I sit right in a whole thing of sticker bushes on the side of the curb. Now I'm actually picking these things out of my rear end as I'm making I'm getting dirty, I'm wet, finally got it done. It took me, I don't know, to get the whole thing. I don't know how long it took. It took me about a half hour. I got to my house about half hour late, took a shower, and then figured, what's it going to be like getting in here? Called in and said, hey, listen, if I'm not here by 1, I'm leaving. It's 11:20 now. I'm leaving. Hopefully, I'm there. Just hold the guys there in case I'm not there. Now to make it a bad day pleasant. We got here in like record time. That was like not. We took 3 people today. I actually took Pete and Ray with me today for no other reason than I had to have 4 people in the car. It's the only reason they got in the car today. They were quiet. So we got in the car and we hit zero. We got here in 40 minutes. So it actually turned out to be from that standpoint, a pleasant ride. So that was my morning. I saw Long Beach, saw the devastation, got a flat, got a bunch of stickers in me, and then got the tire changed. And my wife's like, you actually changed the tire? I said, yeah. She goes, no, you didn't. Who? I said, no, you did not. I said, no, I changed. And then my daughter says to me, Dad, you didn't change the tire. Who changed it? I said, I changed it. Look at my hands. You didn't change the tire, Dad. I mean, we know you didn't. There's no way. You're not capable of changing it. I said, yes, I changed. It might have been the first one I changed in 15 years, but hey, what choice did I have? In this time when people have their houses out in the street, who cares about me getting a flat? I mean, there's not going to be anybody there to help me. So that was my morning in Long Beach. Here's the Mink Man.